when there was discussion about forming ICANN, I was working at Cybercache, and Dan Lynch was one of the founders and on the board. And I remember raising the question of whether Cybercache might, in addition to the things that we were doing, sign up to be a registrar, because I remember seeing that there was some discussion about all of that, and the answer was, no, that's not our business, we're not going to do that. October 15th turns out to be my birthday, and so I remember exactly what I was doing on that day. I was in Berkeley, and I had had dinner with a senior guy who was courteous enough to have dinner with me. And then after dinner, I was driving along in Oakland, and I got this call in the car from Vint telling me that John had passed away, and it was shocking. And of course, devastating in terms of the plans that were in place for John and ICANN. A short time later, the next month, I believe, Esther Dyson and the newly formed board had a meeting in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I was living in the Washington area, have been since 1989, and I had some time on my hands, so I decided I would trek up there. So I sat in the back of the audience and listened to the announcement of the things that were coming, and made a vague attempt at volunteering to see if I could be helpful, but didn't hear anything. The events of 9/11 triggered in ICANN, just as they did in practically every organization around the world, a focus on security. What should we be doing? What issues are important or that we might have to attend to? And ICANN organized a very, very good symposium on internet security issues in Marina del Rey. I did not attend, but I looked at the material afterwards. Vint was by then, I think, chairman of the board. And he and I go back a very, very long time. And he called me up and said that they were organizing the security committee, and he asked me if I would chair it to get it started. He estimated 6 months. Vince's normally very straight, but I knew on the spot that we were not talking about 6 months. That I made a quick estimate that maybe it would take 2 years. Paul Toomey came in a year later as the new CEO, and I recalculated that I ought to give him at least 2 years. And that was 11 years ago. I'm not quite out of SSAC yet, but I did actually manage to step down from chairing it a couple years ago. But that was all a very intense period, and I felt extremely privileged to be able to watch the formative period and to make a contribution in this SSAC activity.